So in this episode, I'm going to be reviewing your portfolios. I'm going to be brutally honest about my thoughts, explaining how you can improve your portfolios. So full transparency here, people. I've never seen any of these portfolios before, and I will begin to roast them one by one and share my raw first impressions with you. So here we have Vaibhav Shivalkar's portfolio. Sorry if I pronounce your name wrongly. The first impression I get is, wow, this person has probably worked in a design role before. He has experience. I'm just gonna check out the first portfolio he has here. Vaibhav has designed an alarm clock. It's a mobile app that helps people wake up on time. However, I'm really picky about the design details in this case study. Why is this not aligned to the left? And why is this icon slightly higher than the one at the right? The project overview and timeline text doesn't seem aligned to each other. This is week 1, so I assume you completed the entire thing in 2 days. In this case, pay attention to your spelling mistakes. Always spell check your case study first. In this user persona, you could put in more effort in determining who are you designing for, because if you don't understand the user's problems and pain points properly, then how am I going to design a solution that actually solves the problem? So I hope to see more of this user persona here. As for the user flow, you could also put in more thoughts into the edge cases. For example, you could split login and sign up into 2. You've just prepared the problem, the solution, the persona, and the user flow, and then you just skip right into the UI design. Where are the design thinking processes? Where is the user testing, right? I only see the end result. I like that you included a prototype, but the prototype seems very blurry. If you could put the phone in a proper phone mockup, it will be better. I love the interactions that you have. This is really nice. I think you nailed it in terms of designing interfaces that are simple and pretty. However, I would like to see more of the thought process. Let's look at the next case study that Vaibhav has. So this is just a bunch of photos. I wish to see your entire design process, your design thinking, and what's the thought process behind, structuring your homepage in this way. So things like that are something that I look for in a candidate. And if you show me pictures, I am not going to be convinced. I would really wish that people structure their portfolio in terms of a case study format. Sorry, Vaibhav, but you need to work on your case study, add in more context, provide more details about your process. So next up, we have Jessica. Her portfolio is in the form of a Notion page. I really like the colors and the subtle animations here. I can see this person has a very cheerful personality. I would look forward to knowing her in real life. She seems fun. I like her one-liner here that she's passionate about people and enjoys creating useful and usable products that people enjoy. So I really like the vibe that I get here. Alright, so let's check out her UX portfolio. Let's start with Tribe Spot here. I really like the user journey map. But in terms of the wireframing to the end solution part, I feel like there is something lacking here. There is also a prototype. I wonder if you could embed a Figma prototype on Notion. And look at this, there's a lot of things to read. Recruiters have plenty of case study every day that people send them, and they wouldn't read every text that you lay out on your website. So if you could pair text to photo, one thing at a time, instead of cramping everything into one page, then I would basically go through your story, right? Because there is no context to the designs. I just see photos and a bunch of text. If you have any photos of you doing the research, that would be great as well, because I want to see some interesting photos of the process itself. What is the actual thought process behind the solutions? I'm not that sure, because from this login page here, I'm not sure why is it placed like this. It looks a little bit awkward here. This is not aligned to the left. And if you could explain those design decisions in your case study, I would get my questions answered. Jessica has a lot of potential to become a really great designer. It's just that in the case study, it lacks design solution explanation there. Structure it in a way that is easy for people to read, bring them through a story instead of showing everything one shot like this, because I am not going to focus properly on what you're trying to tell me. So let's look at her other case studies. This is very nice. I could skip to the sections that I like. She's also went through the entire design thinking process in a 7-week project. And I really liked how she bold the text here. My eyes just kind of was drawn to the bold text and the photos. I like how she designed her chart, so it's easy for me to scan through. Her user interviews as well. Why is the colors all over the place? I can see this app uses very vibrant colors. Suddenly there is this color here, and then there is black. I'm just wondering if Jessica could adopt the same color scheme to all her sections, keep the colors consistent and on brand all the time. Right now, I'm just seeing a lot of colors. I really love this ideation section. I'm wondering if I could see more of the user testing photos. I want to see your process of user testing, how you conducted it. With all these results that you gathered from the user testing, you could have visualized them in maybe charts and graphs and just photos and like annotations. Just make the user testing section interesting so that I can relate and scan through quickly. What I would try to improve from this project is the UI, because I'm not keen with the UI being overly colorful because there is a lack of hierarchy in terms of, where should my eyes look. Some buttons are on the right, some is on the left, and then what's this empty space here? I also have some questions like why the font size here is so small and some text is not readable. When you're showing some design solutions, add some description to it, like explain why did you design it this way. I would like to see some spacing between those sections, some readability improvements on your case study. The text doesn't have to span across the page. It's very hard for me to follow from left to right. Avoid too much text. Try to visualize things all the time so that it makes it easier for the recruiter to understand what you're trying to design. So yeah, this is Jessica. Thanks for sharing your portfolio. Next up, we have Anosha. So right now, I don't really see the product. Is it possible for you to make the device bigger so that I can see more of it and entice me to click into it? I would want to ask Anosha, what is the type of project that excites you the most? If I'm hiring for a consumer-facing product and I see this profile, I would wonder if this candidate would be a right fit for designing my product, because I would prioritize candidates who have a similar work experience or portfolio to my kind of product. So strategize, how do you want people to perceive you as? If you like to design consumer-facing products, then I wouldn't advise you to place dashboards on the forefront. Unless, this is totally your thing, then it makes sense, right? Oh, I can't see the photo behind. That's a waste because I would really like to see this mock-up here and the color is blocking it. I think probably you could explain this somewhere because I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so in this case study, I am wondering because there is no mention of she did the design here, but here there is ideation and design. So I'm not sure, did you design it or not? If I'm hiring for a designer role, I wouldn't be convinced by this case study because it's more on research. While there is a lot of wireframes being provided here, it doesn't provide me any context on how you actually improve the UX. I would just skip this and check out her next case study. If you want to apply for a design role, your first case studies should be centered around design process instead of research. So I'll just look at this case study here. You said that you designed a business conference mobile app, but what's the impact that you bring to the table? What did you change? How did you improve the design experience? I want to see the impact. I want to see the screens with some description on the side, like how did you improve each of those screens? Designing for a variety of device dimensions is part of your job. How do you, as a designer, stand out among the other people besides doing your job here? Just designing the white space and the consistency of things isn't enough. You gotta show your strategic thinking. What was the reason you picked this color? Why is the button placed that way? How did you test it? I did not see any testing processes because right now what I see here is I've been tasked to design something and here you go, this is the design. That's what I see. I want to see what happened in the middle. Let's check out her next case study. Okay, so here, I do not like that there is a lot of text to read. Can you space the sections out a bit and, supplement text with photo, give a balance of that. Spend more time into making it easier to understand. Right now, what I'm reading, it feels like a report here. When I look at the wireframes, there isn't any explanation on why the wireframes are designed that way. If you could list your style guide properly, the hex codes, font sizes, why do you chose this font? Is it because it looks professional and serious tone that matches the brand? Why do you choose this color, right? And what are the challenges that you faced while designing this project? You are more than just a designer. You are not just tasked to design something pretty that just works and ship it. You are supposed to improve the experience that boosts conversions. Think deeper when you're trying to design something. And demonstrating your ability to solve a design problem and turn it into something bigger is what makes you better than other designers. So here's the thing, everyone can follow the design process from researching, ideation, wireframing, shipping it, and testing it, launching it, all that. What we want to look for in a candidate is someone who has the thought process demonstrated strongly in the case study, give more context to something, and don't be afraid to dive deeper into your design decisions in your case study, because I want to see more. There's a ton of candidates showing the same thing over and over again, like how they designed this process, how they followed this, how they tested with people, but what makes you different, right? If you master storytelling in your case study, in your designs, I assure you, you will be a great designer in no time. So next up, we have Jacob. I really like the intro here. Jacob's website links are wrong for the second one. It links to the first project. I'm just gonna try my luck and see if, okay. Make sure your links work. Right, so he has designed this as the website designer in 75 hours. And instead of saying 75 hours, could you maybe just say 3 days so that I don't have to make the math right? Challenge, the goals. I see a lot of text as well, Jacob. If you could make your case study more visual instead of all text. The sitemap's not loading. I appreciate that you have linked your website link here, but I'm not convinced on the UI of this website. And also, like, the website here has this weird gap, probably caused by the slider here. And instead of saying like, I ended up rounding the button as the sharp corners just wasn't looking right, can you give a photo to illustrate before and after of the button's corners and explain how you prefer the second version? From here, I actually like the app. It looks quite cool actually, but I still can't load your site. So sorry, Jacob, I'm just gonna pass this one. All right, so now we have Rabia Khan. Make sure that your texts are responsive. Let's check out one of your projects here, track fit. Make sure that your things are aligning properly. Your text, your photo, your text is very hard to read. If you could increase the line height. I do not see the end products mock-up. Can you show a photo of the real product in a real situation in a mock-up or something? The personas are a little hard to read because of all the text, and look at the photo, it's overlapping with the text. Okay, I like this sketching. It's interesting to look at. The user journey, cool. Okay, I'm not gonna read all this because it's not accessible. Maybe could you break your screens down into individual sections? One screen, one section. Beside each screen, have a headline explaining what the screen is about and a description of maybe 3 to 4 sentences that explains your design decisions behind this. So as the reader, I can understand your design process behind designing this awesome product. Actually, this is a touchscreen display that is life-size. But in this mock-up, it looks like a phone to me. Maybe perhaps the phone can be also in a phone mock-up instead of just square screens. This case study is lacking some structure because of the hierarchy, the typography. Maybe you could turn this into a GIF and I can see something moving. It's more appealing and attractive for me to continue reading through the case study. I feel like the UI, there's a lot of work you can improve on. For example, fix the spacing a little bit, fix the colors, make the buttons more prominent. I'm not sure what should I look at because there is so much information packed into every section here and they are stuck together. And also align your text properly. Now it's center aligned and this is left aligned but not entirely left aligned. And the button text are some on top, some in the middle. So ensure that you have your design details thought through. Take inspiration from other people's case studies. Here we have Sam's portfolio and he's a UI UX designer based in LA. So when I look at this page, I hope to see a clearer differentiation between these 3 projects. Right now, I'm just seeing a bunch of photos that are not aligned properly. One is a phone screen that is half zoomed in and cropped at the side. One is a website that is zoomed overly close. So if you could make that consistent a little bit and maybe just separate them into 3 rows instead of cramping them into 3 columns. By looking at this, I wouldn't know what this project is about. So if you could provide these title, a summary of the project up front here so that I know that, okay, what am I seeing here and what is your role in that project? Recruiters will usually tap on the one that is most relevant to the product. Let me just check out the first one. So this is his first project here and it's an app and also a responsive website. And I like that, he puts a phone screens in a mock-up. However, the mockups doesn't look appealing to me, and I hope to see greater UI skills here. One tip is never align your text in the center because it's very hard to read. It's not friendly for accessibility. And also separate your sections, because right now what I'm looking at is this research section and it should have a little bit more spacing between the next section. I'm also not a fan of showing information in this manner. Make it more appealing. Try to turn it into a visual format. And same goes for this. Do not just screenshot a table and dump it into your case study. It's a no for me. I like that Sam has included his ideation process and also the designs of the wireframes, but why is this text aligned to the right and this is on the left, right? The information are not organized properly. I think that these headlines can be bolded and larger so that I know what I'm looking at. So if you want to demonstrate your user testing process, you can still include a tiny screenshot of your Excel sheets and whatnot. But at the end of the day, as a recruiter, we want to see what is the impact that you have. Could you perhaps summarize these insights into a appealing chart or something that I would actually be able to scan through quickly and read and understand it? I also like that you have added a before and after. In terms of the UI skills, I think you have still a lot to improve. So for example, this button here, do you want to make this button more prominent so people are more likely to click on it? The typography is a little bit off. Line height here is a little bit tight. Cool, so next up, let's see. I think your case study needs a little bit more polishing. I would appreciate to see that if you spend more time on it, not just laying out the content, and also try to use a consistent color scheme throughout the entire case study. Now you have green here, and then there's blue and there's red and there's yellow, gray and light blue here. I think in terms of content, you have it already. It's just that your UI design skills are lacking. So I see that you have also included a prototype. So if you put yourself in the recruiter's shoes and I am unable to click on your home page because your hotspots are so tiny, I can't reach on that menu unless I click multiple times. So same goes for your other project here for global logistics. Try to make your case study appealing to read through. And also things like this, can you align the text? Some are centered, some are on top. Why is this photo larger than this key findings header? And I cannot see the hierarchy here. These photos are not aligned to that one at the bottom. It's a deal breaker for me if these design details are not being taken into consideration. In these 6 portfolios, I see a common beginner mistake. Your portfolios are not tailored to the job that you're trying to apply for. Structure your case study in a proper format. Give clear hierarchy between sections. Give contrast between your text. Improve the readability of your portfolios. Focus on consistency. Do not try to put in different colors, different fonts. It's not going to be easy for people to scan through. It's just going to look messy. How did your designs translate into real impact? How did you improve conversions? How did you improve the experience? Every candidate is just following the design processes and just laying out content on the page. Humans are visual creatures. Make your case study or your portfolio attractive. Essentially, think of your portfolio as a story that you're trying to tell. So if you want to know more on how you can improve your case studies, you can check out my video here. I have also made another video about how you can design your resume along with 10 different resume templates for you to check out. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye!